Welcome back to another episode of the TNT podcast with your host, Timmy, me, and his skeptic dad who refuses to listen to reasoning, Tim. Today, I'm attempting to convince my dad that the face in the courthouse window in Alabama is the result of a man being hanged and swearing to come back and haunt the townspeople.
I've seen it
The
before.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Is this my 10?
No.
But you saw it.
I saw it. I ain't convinced it's a ghost. It's some kind of thing in a glass. I saw it. Well, I would have seen it when I was 5. Me and my dad went there when it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's so foggy you couldn't see it. But then since then, I've been there twice. I've seen it.
Trust me, by the end of this, I'm sure you will be convinced. Wait, what do you think
I
it was
will.
then?
Uh-huh.
What do you think it was then? You saw a face. That's a face.
Some people look at the moon and say they see a face. You can make something out of anything.
Maybe we should go visit it sometime. Me and you.
That's too far to drive.
To see a ghost?
It ain't a ghost.
That's a ghost!
It's a glass.
You'll be convinced it's a ghost when I finish this script, and then I'll ask you a second time if you want to go see it.
If you convince me 100% it's a ghost, we'll drive up there.
Alright, let's do it.
All right.
This story begins in 1865 during the Civil War when federal cavalry burned the original courthouse down. A new courthouse was then built after the war in 1876, and then someone burned the second courthouse down.
You know, and it might not be a bad idea they installing a sprinkler system.
Well, this was the 1870s. They didn't have that.
They needed it.
Man, if only they had you to tell them that.
Maybe that's when they decided to invent one.
I actually don't know.
If we're going to keep building these courthouses, we might ought to invent some sort of system to put the fire out.
In 1878, a black man named Henry Wells was accused of burning the courthouse 2 years earlier. Now, according to a local newspaper, Wells admitted to burning down the courthouse. Wells' friend, a white guy named Bill Buckhalter, robbed a store beside the courthouse while Wells burned the courthouse down. And What?
Hey, man, you go rob the store. I'll burn the courthouse because, I've got 300 parking tickets on my record that I need to get erased. So I'll burn the courthouse down. They won't have them because I've been illegally parking my mule outside these stores. And by the way, while you robbing that store, can you pick me up something really nice?
I actually know exactly why they burned the courthouse down.
Why?
Because if you're going to rob a store and your friend burns down the courthouse, they can't hold you in court. You ain't going to get arrested. It's actually a pretty genius idea.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so? They can't hold you in court.
Let me ask you, did it work?
I mean, it was a good plan.
Go ahead and finish your story.
According to the article, goods stolen from the store was found in their homes, but that didn't prove that they had anything to do with the courthouse burning. Buckhalter
Wait, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Somebody robbed the store and burnt the courthouse. All this happened together, side by side. Yet, according to CNN, just because somebody robbed the store and found all the stuff in their house, don't mean they also burned the courthouse. It's just a coincidence, right?
I'm just going by what was told.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's possible that someone was walking by and dropped their torch, just so happened. I mean, it's not impossible. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You can't just assume stuff, man. Buckhalter was arrested, admitted to robbing the store himself, but stated that Wells was the one that burned the courthouse down. Wells was apprehended, and when he saw the police, he attempted to flee, and they shot him twice.
Shot him? Wounded him?
Yeah, he didn't die.
He didn't die?
Didn't kill him.
So, they didn't tase him? Went straight to the heavy stuff?
That's how they did it back then. They also didn't have tasers.
Oh.
Don't think they wanted them either.
No, they didn't want them.
According to the newspaper, he admitted himself to burning the courthouse down.
But the defense attorney didn't believe him and was out to get him set free, right?
They began building their third courthouse later on, but they wanted revenge on the guy who burned the last one, and they thought that guy was Henry Wells. And Wells was not a pleasant person to begin with. He had a very short fuse, he had a hot temper, he'd get in fights numerous times. He'd carry a straight razor with him that he used to fight.
It's not as good as a gun.
I mean, in a fist fight, though, It's better than a fist.
You better hope that guy ain't got a gun.
Yeah, well, this is 1800s. That's a lot of hoping you got to be doing. He was arrested on a stormy night for arson, burglary, and carrying of a concealed weapon and attempted murder. They carried him to the sheriff's office inside the new courthouse, and people began to hear that the sheriff had arrested Wells. Pretty soon, an angry mob appeared on the courthouse lawn. The sheriff took Wells to the attic of the courthouse and told him to keep quiet. Wells could hear the mob calling on the sheriff to deliver the prisoner to them and defying the sheriff's orders. Wales walked to the attic window. He glared down at the crowd and shouted, and I quote, "I am innocent. If you kill me, I am going to haunt you for the rest of your lives." At that very moment, a lightning strike flashed his picture onto the glass. Many people believe that this image is the result of something called lightning photography. But after what he just said,
Wait a minute.
can you really
You
believe?
can't just say lightning photography. You know what Einstein said about lightning photography?
What did Einstein
I
say?
read his book.
I know you did.
He says a bunch of humbug.
Is that quote for quote what he said?
Yeah, he says a bunch of humbug. Lightning won't put no picture on no glass.
Well, then that actually adds to my point.
What?
It isn't lightning photography. He kept to his word. He said he will haunt you for the rest of your lives and then flash.
Well, he's not doing a very good job of haunting. I mean, if you're going to haunt somebody, you're supposed to jump out and go boo and scare the crap out of them, not just sit up there in the window forever doing nothing.
Well, here's the punishment part.
Oh.
It's... Okay, the punishing part is the fact that his face is forever on that window.
Oh.
There is not anything, you can't get rid of it. I'll explain more of this. So that's one of the theories, is lightning photography. But I believe it's something paranormal. No one noticed the face at the time. The mob, seeing him in the window, stormed the courthouse, took Wells out, and hung him. The next morning, a member of the...
They fixed that problem, didn't they? He won't burn no more courthouses. That's better than a sprinkler system. A rope.
I want to also get out there and say that the lightning flashing thing
Mm-hmm.
is actually a different story from him getting hanged. Because in the one story, the lightning flash killed him.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Got to get the story straight.
Yeah, I could be just bad at researching. I don't know. The next morning, a member of... You know the story pretty well. Is that right? I'm right about that.
I've heard he got struck by lightning and killed. And I've heard he got hung.
So I guess they're separate.
So nobody knows for sure.
That's what I'm going to say. I think the most likely story is they hung him, and his face appeared in that window to haunt them for the rest of their lives. The next...
lightning didn't have nothing to do with it.
There was no lightning.
Yeah, well, Einstein said it was a bunch of garbage.
No, he said it was a bunch of humbug, I thought you said.
Yeah, that too.
The next morning, a member of the mob was walking past the courthouse when he noticed the image of Wells glaring down at him. As other people arrived to view the face, they had remembered what Wells screamed the night before. "I will haunt you for the rest of your lives."
Mm-hmm.
Most scientists call this phenomenon carionography.
What?
Carionography. I wrote it down. I didn't say
Einstein
it.
ain't gonna believe in that.
There is not hard scientific proof that it occurred. But that's the way scientists trying to explain the image.
Oh, okay.
Also, you are like...
What?
You with your Einstein quotes, by the way.
Well, smart people think alike.
The sheriff claims he watched the window numerous times, but the image still remained on that glass. Newspaper reports...
Hey. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. What are you saying?
Did he try a hammer? He used a hammer on it. I bet that'd fix it.
It probably cost him some money. You don't want that.
Why not?
Newspaper reports state it had been washed with gasoline, soap, lye, and even acid, yet the image still remained.
Should have used a hammer.
Every pane in the window was broken by hail, except for one with the face in it. Later, in 1928, during another hailstorm, the pane with that image was destroyed. A carpenter named J.E. Oglesby replaced the pane to watch the image return. Oglesby later stated that Wells came to him in a dream and told him not to discuss the face in the window with anyone, and he refused to talk about...
How'd you know about it?
Also, it is said that you can't see the image from inside the courthouse. It's only visible from the outside and from various angles. The town even installed binoculars across the street where you can get a close-up view of the image.
I bet the line's a mile long, too. Just people waiting in line all day long to get up there and see it.
The story did gain fame. And it gained fame when it appeared in a book called 13 Alabama Ghosts and Jeffrey. Since then, it has appeared in numerous books and magazines. The town has even had a play each year about the event.
Making money.
And before you say anything, the proceeds of the play go to restoring the old courthouse.
Oh, glad you cleared that up for me.
Now, residents claim on stormy nights outside the courthouse you can still hear Wells shouting from that attic.
That's 100-something years ago.
Yeah,
What's he yelling about now? Does he hold a grudge that long?
wouldn't you?
All the people that hung him's dead. He could give it a rest, don't you think?
Maybe he wasn't talking about haunting the people. He was talking about haunting the place, the city.
Oh, okay. Well, the place is getting its money's worth.
So, I think we should recap what we know about Henry Wells. About 33 years old when this happened. Obviously wasn't a very law-abiding citizen. Had a nasty temper and loved to fight. He's just the type of person who would not rest in peace, but hang around to haunt someone.
Wait a minute. There's a certain type of person. You got to be a certain type of person for your ghost to come back.
No, I'm just
Well, I
saying.
am getting an education today.
No, I'm just telling you that, like, out of all people you'd expect to do that,
Oh,
Henry's one of them.
oh.
The county did pay $7 for a casket, and Wells was buried in an unknown location.
Oh, that was mighty generous of him.
According
He
to
burns a courthouse down and they spend money on him for a casket.
well,
They
he
just
said
threw
he's
him in the
innocent.
ground and covered him up with dirt.
He said he was innocent.
Yeah, everybody in jail says they're innocent.
According to one newspaper, Burkhalter's admitted to seeing Wells carrying a candle into the probate's judge's office.
Hunting
A
them parking tickets.
Few moments later, Wells emerged and told Burkhalter that he had set the darn thing on fire and hadn't found anything worth stealing but tobacco.
Probably had the parking tickets in the safe.
Burkhalter
Wasn't getting out of that.
Burkhalter confessed they had broken into the courthouse because someone had told them about a large amount of money in the safe. They used a hammer, but couldn't break in the safe.
They couldn't get in the. They couldn't get in the safe with a hammer. You're serious?
Yeah.
They think about dynamite. I mean, beating on a safe with a hammer is like beating on an anvil. You're not doing anything but making a lot of noise.
Maybe they thought the fire like melted it. There are two versions of how the fire started, actually. One version said that the candle accidentally touched some papers, and
I'm sure it was an
It just-
accident.
the other version is that Wells was frustrated about not being able to get into the safe, so he just set a fire.
Yeah, he couldn't
So-
find them parking tickets.
Here's a photograph of the face in the window if you want to see it.
Oh. See, that's not a man. Look at the size of that thing's mouth.
That's a
He's
dude.
got two teeth the size of a hippo's. His head's square. His ears is way up above his eyes.
We didn't know what Henry looked
If
like.
he was this ugly in real life, even lightning wouldn't take his picture.
No, he wouldn't even. He didn't look like Henry. We don't know what Henry looked like. Henry could have looked like that.
Well, he was one ugly dude. I bet he didn't have no girlfriend.
No, he's dead.
I bet he didn't have no girlfriend for that.
Oh, yeah. This is not the only account of images appearing on the glass,
Oh, really?
or on glass at all.
Oh.
In Russellville, Kentucky, there is a window that captured the image of a lady who was struck by lightning while bathing.
Now you're getting somewhere. Now, I'd like to see that.
Gross, dude. This story is not as well known because it's in the 1920s, and it was painted over because so many people came to see it.
Let me get this straight. You got a naked woman picture on glass, and they paint over it, and they leave that ugly man with the giant mouth and the weird ears up for the whole world to see.
The difference is the man was a ghost. This one's just an actual scientific thing that happened.
How can you tell the difference? How you know she wasn't a ghost?
Because he didn't get struck by lightning in some stories.
Oh.
And he said he's going to come back to haunt.
Oh.
The story of the lady, however, it was in the Sexton House, which was built in 1870. The
Sex house. Well, she is bathing.
The story is that around 1900, the daughter of the owners was told she couldn't go to a dance. She was in a cupola bathing, and some accounts state that she was naked. According to the story,
I hope she was naked if she's bathing. I mean, how many people you know bathes with their clothes on?
According to the story, she was upset about her parents, so she cursed God for it. And at that very moment, she was
Well, what'd God
killed.
have to do with it? Should have cursed her parents.
Well, he gave her parents.
I guess so.
Her image was permanently printed on the glass, and in the 1920s, the father got tired of people coming by to see his daughter's picture in the glass, so he just painted over it.
He got tired of all them perverts hanging around looking at his naked daughter on the glass, so he painted over it.
Yes.
He's probably tired of spraying them with a water hose.
Although it is still covered with paint, there are people who swore to have even seen it before 1920.
I don't think so.
What?
If there's somebody around now that saw it before 1920, they got to be at least 110 years old. And how many people you know that old that can still remember yesterday?
Let's discuss this. The image came from somewhere. How did these images get on that glass?
Bad craftsmanship.
How can you... Okay,
Probably made in China, just like crap we buy today.
Okay,
Some things never change.
let's play along with your game, buddy. Even Einstein stated he didn't believe in lightning photography.
Yep.
It's not real.
He didn't believe in ghosts either.
So that lady and the face in the courthouse window was not lightning photography.
Well, now we'll never know about the lady they painted over.
The man, the face, the guy, Henry.
And you think that's a man?
That's a man.
I believe.
I
believe they had a hippo locked up there.
I could see his nose and his eyes.
You say so.
Anyways, I guess it's discussion time.
Have you ever seen that old glass like from back in the Civil War? It's wavy. It's not like today's glass. You can't see through it clearly. It's got kind of waves in it.
Yeah.
That's just what that is. Just defect in production.
I don't think so.
It just because it's kind of got. I mean, look.
How did he replace the
Look
glass?
how square his head is.
He replaced the glass and it came back.
He looks like that guy in Minecraft. What's his name?
Steve?
Yeah, he's got the same shaped head.
Anyways, I guess it's
Did they
time.
know if Henry Wells played Minecraft or not?
I think it's time we get to discussion time and ranking.
No. Okay.
So on a
You
scale,
feel like you've convinced me?
I think I'm gotten pretty good at convincing you. I think you're just in denial.
Oh.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, dear father o' mine, what would you give the face in the courthouse window as being the ghost of Henry Wells, swearing to haunt the town?
I'll give it a 2.
What?
2.
What?
And that's stretching it.
No,
I had
okay.
to stretch that one.
Why?
It's just bad glass, bad craftsmanship.
But he swore.
Chinese workers.
He said he would do it.
He said he'd do it. Yep. But he ain't haunting nobody. I mean, he's just sitting up there looking out.
That is haunting. You don't think that's haunting?
He's just sitting there with his face frozen in the glass.
Could you imagine if your room window got forever smeared with someone's face on it?
I'd
That's
take
haunting.
a hammer and get rid of it.
Someone did, and it came back.
And so they said. But he also said he told him not to talk about it, but he talked about it.
Well, that's because he's not going to do everything he says. Sometimes you got to risk your life for the name of finding out those other sciences, you know?
Einstein said that other scientists is a bunch of garbage. Humbug.
I don't believe
I read his book. Did you read his book?
What?
Did you read Einstein's book?
What's the name of it?
Einstein.
He named his book Einstein?
Yeah. It's about him.
He wasn't very creative with names for somebody so smart.
Well, he liked to keep things simple for you simple-minded people.
Ah, haha. What about other scientists, huh? You only believe Einstein? He's the only scientist you believe? What about Stephen Hawking? Or,
Stephen Hawking's an idiot. He ain't all that smart. He just thought he was.
other scientists. Well, Bill Nye.
Who?
Bill Nye. The science guy.
Is that the guy that shocks himself all the time?
No, what? Who's that?
That guy that you watch on YouTube electrocutes himself every time he tries an experiment?
Oh, no, that's, no.
You sure?
No, he's not a scientist.
Oh.
So I think what we're learning here is that my dad's in denial.
Yeah, I'm in denial.
This face in the courthouse window is a ghost. And I think
No.
I deserve a higher ranking than 2. Come on.
A goat.
What can I do to edge you up a little bit? Like, to get you give me a higher ranking.
Make the face talk and say something.
What? He does talk. They said he yells.
They said, he said, she said, they said.
So you're telling me just
Why don't somebody take a tape recorder and record him when he's doing all that?
they're scared?
They're scared.
I would be.
Well, I ain't.
Hey, maybe you should recreate what you
I
think
need
he
some
sounds
proof.
like.
You're not giving me good evidence on these things.
I am.
He said, she said. That won't hold up the court of
Fine,
law.
fine. Next episode, I won't be giving you infinite evidence. You will be convinced, and I will
What's
get a
the
10.
next one on?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh.
I think what we should do next, and this is just out of nowhere, I think we should do a demonic episode to really convince you. You don't believe in demons now?
No.
Well, I'm about to convince you
Okay.
in the next episode.
I can't wait.
I'm excited. We're done.
TNT out.
Woo!